What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another GeForce Now News Thursday, but a day early, September 10th, Wednesday here. And that's because this is the official rollout day of the new RTX 5080 Superpods and all the features and stuff that come with that from GeForce Now. So we're going to take a look at some of that in this video this week. I've had hands-on for a little while, and I've been able to check out a few games and a couple of different settings, and we'll just kind of take a quick look at how all that's working. But before we do that, there are 3 games that are hitting the service this week. I expect them to keep it pretty light considering all the focus is really on the launch and rollout of the RTX 5080 Superpods for the ultimate tier. But let's take a look at those 3 games, and then we'll get a little bit more into the RTX 5080 that I've been checking out here in the past week or so. Our first game is a new release over on Steam, September 9th, 2025, with Firefighting Simulator Ignite. Face unprecedented dangers, fight perilous fires with your crew, and save lives in Firefighting Simulator Ignite. Step into the boots of a U.S. firefighter and play with up to 3 friends or with the help of your NPC-controlled crew members. Next up, we have Borderlands 4 for Steam and the Epic Game Store for September 11th. This is definitely a title I've been looking forward to. I really loved Borderlands 1 and 2, and I played through 3, but it just didn't really catch me like the other ones did, and it looks like Borderlands 4 is maybe returning a little bit more to that previous feel that I preferred in the other games. So really looking forward to jumping into this one on GeForce Now. And our third and final game here is also for September 11th. It's early access on Steam with Professional Fishing 2. It's the second installment of an exciting fishing game that takes you into the world of thrilling angling adventures. Step into the shoes of a novice angler embarking on a journey with simple yet reliable gear. All right, that's the 3 games we got for this week. Definitely Borderlands 4 is a huge title that's coming out. I'll be checking that out on GeForce Now and seeing how that one's running. But I'm just in general looking forward to that title. But with all that said, let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at what I was able to test out and take a look at on the RTX 5080 tier for GeForce Now. All right, so the first thing we'll jump into is a few of the settings. Of course, some stuff you'll notice different here is going to be your cloud storage for your install to play. So you're going to be able to add storage here, manage your Steam games, and get into all that. Of course, we're going to have some other options in here that we didn't have before. We can go all the way up to 100 megabits per second on our stream, which is nice here. And we also have our different modes as usual, but we now have the cinematic quality mode, which is pretty much going to be a 4K 60 and everything kind of tweaked and working to give you the best looking image that they can. Something for me I'm happy about is finally having 240 FPS support at 1440p, which I use a lot for my monitors. We've also got 1080p 360 FPS for those of you that are running 360 hertz monitors and want to be able to take advantage of that, especially in some competitive games. So we've got that. We've got some additional 444 color options here, and as before, we still have HDR and all that supported. Now, the other one we have here that's new that I think has a lot of potential and is really cool is the install to play. They have a whole column here, and you can click on see all, and there's over 2,300 install to play games. Now, I only had a couple of games available for me here. I really don't own very many of these games that are on this list. I have Nova Drift, and there were a couple other little ones, so I couldn't check out a lot here, and a lot of these are smaller games that just haven't gotten added to the service yet, but I'm sure there's a lot of stuff here people have been playing, and we'll be happy they can add on here. It also shows a lot of potential for the future and getting games added quicker through this install option. You can also filter out your library to see your installed to play available and installed games on your drive as well. So that works out pretty good. If I want to go and install Nova Drift, one of the install to play games, I can just select it here, click install, which is then going to open me up into a session here with Steam, and I'll be able to just do an install like you would normally do on your PC, which works pretty easily for these games. And of course, we have really high speed internet here with GFN, so you can download them pretty quick and then get into the game. So it's pretty nice to be able to use that there. And again, a lot of potential for this in the future. Now let's move on and take a look at cinematic quality. Now, trying to show this on YouTube and with video compression, everything's very difficult, but in person I can more pick up differences in the qualities of textures, things in the distance, and that type of thing. And running through some games and checking out some cinematic quality settings on both the stream and really high settings in the game, it's really apparent that everything is about having as clear of an image as possible through different methods to kind of get rid of the muddiness that you see in the distance. One of the titles I really enjoyed this on was Mafia: The Old Country. This title actually worked out really well for me in cinematic settings, maxed out the game, knowing I would come under 60 FPS with 4K here and all that, but I wanted to see how things would look with this one, and this title worked out great for this, so lots of great potential there for that as well. Now, I also checked out some 240 FPS 1440p and some stuff with that, see how latency was feeling and that type of thing. It was really cool to jump in and play Cyberpunk 2077 at anywhere from 100 to 240 FPS if I wanted to here. And while it's hard to show how good that looks here locally on a 240 hertz monitor, it did work out really, really well. Black Myth Wukong as well. I don't think I would have any trouble here when it came to input latency or any of that. Even if I got into some of the harder fights in the game, everything felt really good and looked really crisp and clean on the screen as far as the cinematic quality. Now, if we're getting into something that's more multiplayer or competitive, of course, cloud gaming always has that little bit of feel to it or a little difference when it comes to local. But man, it's gotten really, really close here as we've gone from the 3080 setup to the 4080 to the 5080 and getting up to 240 FPS here at 1440p, which for me 1440p is the spot I game at mostly, especially on PC. For having this option at 1440 is great. So I definitely want to dive in and check out a lot more when it comes to the actual latency and how these games feel at higher frame rate. Something else I really like is the Steam Deck OLED finally having 90 hertz support, so we can set that to 90 FPS for our stream. I'd probably lock my games to 90 as well, but I didn't get into it a lot here for this video. But I've got HDR 90 FPS stream here to the OLED, and it looks great here for Cyberpunk. So another nice addition here that I like seeing, getting that added in there. It'll be great for a lot of other handhelds as well, having the 5080 available and all of that. Now, there's a ton of things here I didn't really get into. I don't have a wheel here to test, a steering wheel to test out, which they have support for that now. They've added additional TVs. And of course, I want to get deeper into testing maybe some of the latency of this stuff when it comes to the 1440 240, because that's one of the things I'm really interested in here, so I might have to get into that a little bit. But yeah, this is just another nice step forward for GeForce Now and being able to check out the 5080 here. Now, I'll get a lot more time with this now that we're past this time, and I'm getting caught up on other things in life and videos, so there'll be more to come when it comes to that. But anyways, this was great to check out here. Alright guys, that's going to wrap us up for this week, a one-day early special edition GeForce Now news. And again, we didn't have a lot of titles this week, Borderlands 4 definitely being the big one, but it's exciting to see the RTX 5080 finally rolling out. More people will be able to get to experience and get hands-on. It's been a really fun experience here checking it out. And while I didn't get to test everything, and there's a lot more I want to do and videos I want to make and getting a little bit deeper into it, it's been a great time and the games are running fantastic. So anyways guys, as always, thanks a lot for coming and check out the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.